What's goody, family? Peace, blessings, and wholeness. We're at the farm today. Gonna go through some updates. Stick around. Let's get into it. So last time we were here, I made these mounds. Well, that was the time before last time. And then I direct sowed some seeds last time. And I was talking about how it might have been still a little bit too cold for the corn to germinate. Well, some of the corn is germinating, and I haven't watered in 10 days, so that tells me that there was enough moisture in these mounds. Some of the beans are germinating, and some of the other seeds are germinating. So the garlic is looking really nice, and I work at a local nursery in town, so I was able to get some Brussels sprout starter plants for a good price. Jade Cross Brussels sprout is the name. I planted those 18 inches on center, and I did it in the pathways of the garlic. So trying to maximize the amount of growing space. So if it means planting in the middle of the pathways, then I guess that's what it's going to be. Now let me show you all of these seedlings that are starting to germinate. And I got one other plant that I got from the nursery, starter plant. So this is a green globe artichoke, also another starter plant from the local nursery I work at. And it had huge prolific leaves on it, but it was becoming root bound in its pot. And after I brought it up to the context of a 5th floor balcony with only 3 hours of sunlight, it was getting too much shade and too much moisture, which triggered aphids to start come attack it. So I snipped off those leaves that had aphids on it, and now that I've gotten it out of its pot and in the soil, I think it should recover nicely. This looks like powdery mildew, but it's actually just the fur of the young leaves of the artichoke leaves. And there's, still a little aphid egg. Let's see if it will recover. And I'm not worried about aphids contaminating any of this because these plants are strong and healthy. Once plants become to a certain weakened point, that is the only point that they can be attacked by pests. So the rest of this mound is the elderberries that we talked about last time. It says that the artichoke can get up to 5 feet tall by 4 feet wide, or 4 feet tall by 5 feet wide. So prolific artichoke plant on this mound surrounded by all the elderberry cuttings. It should provide some shade. We'll see how that guild works. Here's the bed of potatoes. Still not sprouting yet, but there's definitely still enough moisture in there. I am going to water today. Maybe not the garlic beds, but just the pathways. We dealt with powdery mildew back east, but it really wouldn't set on until the end of the summer, after we've had many humid days and humid nights and weeks upon weeks of rain. But out here, it actually sets on way quicker, because if there's moisture on top of the plant, it's not good to water during the day anyways. You should either water early before the sun comes up or late evening after the sun goes down. That's just my personal opinion, what I've learned from previous experiences. But out here, if there's moisture on the leaves and it gets hit by the intense rays of the sun, because we have a higher elevation, close to like 5,000 feet, and can be 100 degrees for a week at a time, that's what causes the powdery mildew out here. Too much moisture and then not enough airflow. That's what causes powdery mildew in general, but it seems just like it sets on way quicker out here because of how intense the heat is from the sun. Anyways, we have some more little baby seedlings trying to germinate. I really seed bombed these mounds, so hopefully they will hang on. I am going to water the mounds, and I'll probably just water in the pathways. So We can basically flood, irrigate the pathways so that there will still be moisture deep down, and we won't have to worry about getting the foliage of the garlic wet as much as we would have if we watered down the middle of these rows. And when I planted these artichokes, when I planted these Brussels sprouts and dug down with my little hand shovel, there was a deep amount of moisture already down there. So, excuse the yard work going on with the neighbors. We got some more seeds germinating. Check back to the other video to see what these other mounds are germinating with. Some carrots, some beets, turnips. Not seeing any germinating. This is the carrot bed. Carrots need a lot of moisture, and those were older seeds, so they may not have germinated. But everything else is hanging on, and then back to the corn and the beans. So it's pretty good stuff. This England, France variety soft neck garlic is doing really, really good. I like how you can see the leaves are like just floppy over as all the hard neck ones, just like standing up sturdy and straight. It's one of the ways you can tell the difference. And that's all of the bulbuses. Looking really nice. None of the tree seeds are coming up yet as well. Currently don't have a car, so I'm riding my skateboard here with a bucket of plants in my hands. Gotta make it happen somehow. So yeah, that is your update for today. Garlic is looking very, very healthy and beautiful. I am starting to see, also like we talked about last time, a little bit more as the heat sets on. Potentially I'm going to see a little bit more weed pressure, and it's just on the edges where the soil gets roughed up the most. And as I was saying, the leaves are actually fanning out into the pathways, which will create more shade for the cucumbers, summer squash, pumpkins, Swiss chard, kale, everything else that have started in the apartment stead to get transplanted out here in about 3 weeks or so. Originally, we weren't going to plant the pathways and was just going to wait till the garlic harvest in early July, then plant all the beds. But, you know, just get a little bit eager and want to grow as much food as possible and stretch the limits. So we're going to test out with planting vegetable starter plants in the pathways. Then when the garlic comes out, plant more into those beds. So I'll cut to a little clip of all those seedlings that we have ready right now. And in just a few more weeks, we should start to see the garlic scapes start to appear, which will be making a whole bunch of pesto. Potentially could sell the garlic scapes, sell the pesto, or pickle the scapes, just freeze the pesto for winter storage, fall storage, a whole bunch of potentials. So peace, blessings, wholeness. We will see you on the next one. Thanks for your support. Farmer John NV, out. Market More 76 cucumbers, silver slicer cucumbers, spaghetti squash, cantaloupe, watermelon that did not germinate, and then pumpkin and a summer squash. And then we have kale, Swiss chard, sweet potato slips starting to grow. And then some lettuce. Also, there is a few celery starts, Brussels sprouts, and an artichoke. Now flashback to the farm. Hey growers, I just wanted to take one last little clip here before the end of the day, before the end of the video. I said I was going to water in between the pathways, but I've made the decision not to do that because the water is just going to get on the garlic too much. I do think with the application of the deep, thick mulches, there should be enough moisture retained until I'm able to come back in the evening and water, because then I won't mind getting the garlic wet. But when you get the garlic wet in the full sun, not a good thing, or any plants in the full sun really. So I did water these new beds with the fresh seedlings trying to germinate in them though. So what I wanted to say is that this garlic is actually going to go on 20 days without water, because it's been 10 days now and I probably won't make it back here for about 10 days. So we'll see how the garlic holds up. There's irrigation drip lines in each one of these beds right now, but they're not hooked up yet. The other people who maintain this land are trying to find a leak, but I don't even want to be hooked up to the irrigation. I just want to keep on watering with the hose, hand watering, because that way I have less control, but I also have more control at the same time, because I can really see this garlic is adapted to the East Coast and New England. So now I'm adapting it to a desert climate. So in order to adapt it to a desert climate where we only have 7 inches of rain a year and not 40 to over 50 inches of rain a year, they're going to need to learn how to survive with minimal water. So with that being said, we'll see you on the next one. Peace, blessings, and wholeness. Just wanted to add this in here as one last little tidbit. So thank you for your support, and we'll talk to you soon. The garlic is looking amazing. Can't wait to harvest and plant some more vegetables. Great season ahead.